This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Look, just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, the season is starting, it's on us already, and we are back in Tilton Talk for our 14th season. So welcome back, and welcome back again to the away end. I am joined this evening by our friend Ben Thomas from the Tilehurst End podcast for all Reading fans out there. So Ben, tell us a little bit about yourselves, how long you've been going, and kind of what you get up to.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, really good to be here and talk about season starting, which is crazy. It seems like a long time coming, really. So, keen to get into that. In terms of the podcast, I mean, it started about 10 years ago, and it's had sort of a number of different iterations, really, a number of different hosts. I currently co-host it. I've been doing that for just over a year now, with my mate Ross Webber, who's over in the States, but is a avid Reading fan. So we kind of just shoot the breeze, really, have a chat every week about Reading. And obviously, as you can imagine, the last year has been interesting, really. It's been a bit of a baptism of fire when we got handed the reins. We didn't think it would be, quite as bad as it's got. But we're not just a podcast. We do a lot of articles. We have a website with articles that we have a range of writers that do either guest articles or regular columns. We have dabbled in a little bit of merchandise, but that's very, very exclusive. We don't tend to kind of sell that. It's more for giveaways. But yeah, we try and do as much as we can, really. I think we've got about 14,000 followers on Twitter now, which, you should never measure that in terms of success. But we've got quite a few people that look at what we do and read it and engage with us. So yeah, it's good fun. And as you know, you can never really get bored of talking about your football club, however bad it gets, Craig. So, privilege to do it, and privilege to sit in the hot seat and have the microphone every week and talk about our proud old club, basically.
Excellent. And it's very similar to ourselves. I mean, I mentioned their 14th season we're into now, but growing year in, year out. And it's great fun, just like you say, to chew the ear of others, understand a little bit about the teams that we're going to be playing. And of course, it's a bit different for Birmingham this season. First time for many, many, many years in Division 1 and the third tier of English football, which, God, at the start of last season, if somebody had said it to us, we'd have gone, you're joking. But it's happened. We have well and truly hit the reset button. I think we've set, at the moment, as we stand, a bit of the league alight in terms of signings and what our intentions are with way move forward. And our owners haven't held back. They've improved the stadium no end. We've got new screens, which you guys will get to see on Saturday's game. There'll be the new sound system on the go. There's all new hospitality inside the stadium. There's work outside. It's just unreal what's happened across this summer. And who would have thought the relegation would signal the start of all of this work? So very, very, very exciting from our side of things. And I can't hold back. I am really looking forward to it, as I hope you guys are. So I'm a bit of background on Reading, I suppose. So when I looked at the league from last season, I think we finished 17th. So a tough season. Definitely some overlap with some players and stuff within the club, as we'll come on to shortly. One of which I know he's actually at your club at the moment and a friend of the show. Not going to mention no names because it will help you out. But I think you've had a very similar pre-season to ourselves in that you've played some really good sides. I think you've had 4 wins, 3 of those against championship sides, 1 draw against a premiership outfit, and then finally 2 losses against, again, championship sides. But you've held your own. Did see a very good 2-0 result, I think, the weekend against Hull. In fact, I think it was I can't remember if it was first or second goal, but the build-up play was fantastic and actually was a pleasure to watch the highlights of. So, yeah, I mean, how do you think, first of all, your pre-season's gone? Very early doors to always say how you think the season will end. But we'll come on to a prediction at the end of it. But, tell us how you think the pre-season's gone and, again, what you're looking forward to at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look, it always makes me laugh when people say it's just pre-season. And I always think, what's the point of doing it then if it's just pre-season? I think you can, this time last year, we hadn't won a pre-season game. And, realistically, looking back, hindsight's a fantastic thing, but writing was on the wall at that point, really. We started horrendously. We had a really, really bad sort of pre-Christmas run where we were in the bottom 3 for a long time. People like myself were calling for Ruben Sellers to go. Like, he didn't know what he was doing. The players didn't know the system. There wasn't any relationship. There wasn't any gel with the players. We had particularly some away games where there was kind of confrontations between fans and players and coaching staff, and it was very, very toxic, really. And that really was kind of a symptom of the bigger problem, which is up in the boardroom that currently, incredibly, we still have. I won't go into that too much because it's all out there on the internet, and most of your guys listening will know that. But from our point of view, where we are now, it's night and day. There's a kind of a growing hope, if you like, not so much optimism, but not expectation, but a hope that we're going to be able to compete in this league and kind of pick up where we left off from around sort of February last year and build into the end of the season. With 17th, as you mentioned, was where we ended, but that doesn't really tell the story of how we finished the season and how well we were playing as a unit, how well the connection was growing between, Ruben Sellers as a manager, his coaching staff, the players and the fans in the stands. So there was a real feel-good factor at the end of our season against Blackpool, which we won, which was a great result for us, really. I think we stopped Blackpool getting in the playoffs at that point. But we ended up that season in real good spirits, and then we had a situation where the summer dragged on, and it's still dragging on, really, in terms of the ownership. We're hopeful, as we have been for 2 years, that's going to correct itself pretty quickly. But in terms of getting new players in now, the time's sort of run out a little bit. And I think, going back to what you said originally about the pre-season, and the fact we've not signed anybody at all, is an interesting one, to say the least. But we haven't lost any of our big hitters so far. They've all chosen to stay. From what we know, as you know, in the rumour mill in football, we've had offers for key players that have been rejected by the club and the players themselves. And, you think about yesterday, we were great. Hull weren't brilliant, of course, but as you rolled off the results we've had this pre-season, they've been really, really solid. And we've not, in the defeats we've had, we've not been outclassed by anybody. And the rotation has been fantastic as well. So at the moment, very, very happy with where we're at and hopeful that we're going to be able to compete in this division this year.
And I think it's fair to say I've had numerous conversations with fans over the past few months, and back end of last season, and it's actually ironic how similar your club and the way it's been run and the ownership situation, the upset with the fans has been with numerous teams, but actually it really does resonate a lot with Birmingham fans because we're in such a similar position up until when we got no owners. And I'll say it with any club, don't wish to see anybody get into such a situation that they're close to going out of business. And I hope that, you can resolve the situation with your owners and get better people through the door who are going to support you as much as Knighthead have done with Birmingham. And you know, hey, let's face it, we've both been teams top of our leagues and in the Premiership. So we all want to get back there. It is the promised land. Let's face it, it's where all the money is. But, you know, stepping stones can be taken. And like you say, you can build on it. So, I mean, I look back, actually, our past five games have actually been really close. I think we've reversed, actually, quite a few of the results. But it's turned out with Birmingham winning 2, Reading winning 2, and a good old board draw. So, we come into the new season. First game, you can never predict it. Never, ever, ever predict it. Yeah. We've got a squad that is still gelling, but has done increasingly well across the pre-season. We may even see, you know, fingers crossed, a couple of people through the door again, or even, you know, just one before the week is out. We just don't know. As Birmingham fans, we've been surprised with what's come so far. But I think it's going to be a great game. I mean, firstly, a sellout St Andrews. I honestly didn't think I would be able to say at the end of last season that we would hear those two words sellout together. But we're going to our first game. We've sold out before the weekend is even over. I think Reading have been very close to selling their allocation as well. So you're going to have a great following coming up. And better still, it's on the TV. So we'll get a chance to really show what the football and this division actually can be about. It's exciting times. So, firstly, before we go into some discussions around predictions for the weekend and stuff, I want to test your knowledge. I've got a list of players that have represented both Birmingham and Reading over the years. There's obviously one who is still with you at the moment. Friend of the show, in fact, and I had the pleasure of meeting him as part of a supporters group forum a few months ago. But I just want to ask, apart from that said person, can you name another 4 that have represented both clubs over the years? And there have been some really, really good players that have swapped over.
Yeah. So we'll take out Harley Dean, who I'm referring to be honest. So Hayden Mullins would be one.
Yep.
Stephen Kelly would be one. Michael Morrison, love Michael Morrison when he was with us. He was a great player. I think he was pretty good for you as well.
True gentleman. And again, friend of the show, he came on and has spoken about his career. And you know, the one thing I can say about that guy, he just has the absolute love of the game. You know, I don't think it matters where he is, what shirt he's pulling on. He just wants to give 150% all the time. And true gentleman. Same as Holly.
And I'm pleased for him as well. The way his career's panned out, going back to Cambridge as well for him is fantastic for him. So, lovely guy. Matthew Upson, that's going back a few years now, to be honest. He was on loan for us sort of early 2000s, I think. It's really showing my age now, to be honest. Another centre back, Scott Dan. He was recently with us. Who else we got? I think that's pretty much it. I think.
There's a trend. There's a common trend there, isn't there? It's defenders.
All defenders.
So I mean, you've mentioned Matty Upson, you've mentioned Hayden Mullins, Stephen Kelly, Michael Morrison, Scotty Dan. There's one name who never really hit it off in Birmingham. I'm not too sure how you would rate him at Reading, but that's Tyler Blackett. He was very, very early into his game when he came to Birmingham, and I think he turned out twice and never set foot on the pitch again for them. So it's that one. Mentioned Holly Dean there. And then going back through the years, you know, some fantastic forward-facing players and midfielders in Nicky Forster, Jason Bowen, Steve Seddon and Andy Legg, the guy with the longest throw in the Football League as it was at the time. And I've got to say, I've had the pleasure, and it is the pleasure of saying I've seen all of those players turn out for my club over the years. So we've had some really good swap overs. There's also a link in terms of our current head coach. So Chris Davis, as a player, I believe, for Reading before he suffered that really not pleasant injury that actually took him out of the game. But it's something, listening to an interview with him on the local radio the other day, that it seems to have G'd him on. and actually gave him that impetus to say, do you know what, I love the game. I don't want to stop with the game, but what I actually want to do is take a different steer. So he took away after his injury and got degrees. He then took that away into the sports directorship side of it. And he's gone on heading, strength to strength, really, in terms of everything that he's done. And now his opportunity for the first time to lead from the front at Birmingham. I've got to say, when his name came out, I'd never heard of him. But boy, does this guy know what he is doing when he comes to the pitch. And it's strange to say, through pre-season, seeing some of the games, going and watching them against Rangers a couple of weeks ago, and front foot football, which we've been crying out for, but we just hadn't either got the ability to do so or even have the players, has completely changed. And that's what we saw straight away. Pressure, anything else on the teams.
I think the thing people forget, Craig, is that he's been a coach for a long time. Like, he was with us in 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Not very long. Finished his playing career with us, I think, in 2003, 2004. He was a youth player and played under Brendan Rodgers. But, you look at the credentials that he brings to your club. Where's he been? Celtic, he's been at Liverpool, and he's recently been with Big Ange at Spurs. And so actually, you'd like to think he's learned at least one thing at those clubs, to be able to impart. And it's going to be difficult for League One is a tough league. I recently read somewhere that it's no longer the awkward middle child of the football pyramid. And you look at the teams, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on, but there's some massive clubs in that league, and really there are a lot of teams that don't want to be there, that should, as you said earlier, be further up the pyramid. You look at Portsmouth, they've been there for so long, They've just got out.
Yeah, I mean, Sunderland are a great example of a team that dropped down into the division and then struggled to get out of it. I don't think there's one Birmingham fan out there that will turn around and say that anything but promotion this season is a good season. It really is. And they're building a squad, which we can come on to talk about, but they're building a squad that's not just about this division, it's around how it can then stabilise and take us forwards. And you read so much across social media. I've seen so many podcasts and different areas coming out with comments around, give Birmingham the title now. There's only going to be one automatic spot. There's not going to be two. I'm a realist. And the one thing I've said since the very end of last season is this is going to be no pushover. Every team will come to St Andrews and see it as a final. Every team will play at home and not want to concede a goal. They're going to be very, very tough to beat. And that I saw actually at the end of last season as well with the playoff games that I did watch, just to try and get an idea of what to expect. And there are some big teams in the league that will be fighting again to get out there. We've got the Barnsleys, we've got the Boltons, we've got yourselves, all massive, massive clubs that don't want to be where they are, have seen bigger, much brighter days and want to get back. Even if it's just to the Championship, it's still a step up. And, the strange thing for me is going to be going to St Andrews, seeing, we've got 18,000 season ticket holders. So your attendance is always over 18,000. Top in the 20s, I would say, each game, and then going to an away game where you might be lucky to get 4,500. It's going to be really, really strange to have such that difference and the gulf between what there is there. But on the positive side, it's an opportunity for us to have hit the reset button and take it forward.
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Look, just fantastic. You can actually see the ProPilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
Did you know 1 in 2 women wear the wrong foundation?
Matching foundation is hard, but Il Makiage makes it easy. Take the Power Match quiz to find a better match in seconds, customized for your unique skin tone, undertone, and coverage needs. With 600,000 five-star reviews, this best-selling foundation is going viral for a reason. Available in 50 shades of weightless natural coverage. And with Try Before You Buy, you can try your full size at home for 14 days. Just pay shipping. Take the quiz at ilmakiage.com/quiz. That's ILMAKIAGE.com/quiz.
What do you think your season is going to look like? How do you think it's going to be? And I've got to ask the question because I'll ask it of everyone. Do you feel the same as what other people are saying in regards to what Birmingham have done so far in the league or in terms of players and recruitment? And do you think, being realistic, where do you think you'll end up at the end of the season?
Well, let's deal with you guys first of all. I read an interview in the week where Chris Davis said that you were going to be a big fish in a small pond, and I think that's a good mentality because actually we brought in 14-15 million pounds worth of players being back financially to do that. I don't know a lot about the players you brought in. I know obviously Alfie made very well. He was fantastic in League One last year for Charlton, and looking at them, they've got a chance to compete this year. So we must see something in the project review to kind of switch sides, if you like. I'm hoping that by Saturday, Jordan James is gone off your team because he is a menace, and being from a Welsh persuasion as well, he's one of the first players on the team sheet currently for us at international level. Look, you got a good squad, and I'm not going to be one of those people that goes, "Oh well, I think Birmingham will finish outside the top six," because that's unrealistic. There's going to be a lot of expectation on you guys, and not just from inside the fan base, but from the wider footballing community. People are going to want to see you lot fail, to be blunt, because of the money you spent. And there are some horrid places in that league, some really dreadful places to go. And I'm not going to name them now because they'll come after me, but you probably read between the lines there. I mean, you will finish top 6, 100%. I would be gobsmacked if, over the course of the season, you weren't able to finish in the top 2. I think there will be some teams in there that will push very hard. Charlton, as I said, being one of them, I think they're going to be all right. Bolton, there's a lot of expectation on them. They need to get it right straight off the bat to be able to compete in the league as well, like they did last year. So, it's not going to be as easy as I've seen some of your fans mention, and we found that as well, that the quality of football, whilst not, scintillating stuff at times, is very, very attritional. It's very, very aggressive. It's very, very in the face with a lot of these teams. So I think from your point of view, it will be a question of it has to be top 2 because you don't want to get caught in the trap like your Portsmouth, like your Sunderland's that spent a long time in this league. From our point of view, I mean, we started horrendously last year. We didn't have the lie of the land at all. I don't think the players really knew what had hit them in terms of the quality of the league and how to play the league. As I mentioned previously, we've not brought in anyone, but we haven't lost anyone that's integral to how we play. So the hope there is that we're going to be able to compete a lot more in the early part of the season than we did last year. But you don't know, like if the takeover happens this week and we can bring in some reinforcements, because that's what we're really lacking in terms of experience and strength and depth, particularly at the fullback positions. If we can do that, then we're looking higher up the league. Right now, if we stay as we are, I'd be happy with anything from between 8th and above. Obviously delighted with that, but realistically, between 8th and 15th probably. As long as we're not in a relegation scrap around Christmas, we'll be fine in the league. And I think most Reading fans you'd speak to who've been through the ringer over the last, I've been supporting them 30 plus years, and I know I don't look it, but I have. The kind of a lot of fans we have now just see the Premier League and just see the top end Championship. Traditionally, that's not what Reading Football Club is. I started watching them in Division 1, as you mentioned earlier. So from my point of view, and I think a lot of other Reading fans' point of view, they would take a very boring, very tedious mid-table with a new owner in charge and then see what we do next year. But anything above that, and it's been a fantastic season. So, the hope is there that we can do that and we can cement ourselves in this league and really build from there. But you just don't know in this league. Someone asked me yesterday about sort of trying to do a predictions. I can't do it because there's so many teams in there. They've got expectations themselves. Yep. Wrexham, Stockport coming up. They've all got ambitions. As we mentioned, Charlton, Barnsley are still there, Peterborough, and we haven't even spoken about Rotherham in terms of players they've signed with their manager. So it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult for any team to do really well in this league. I'm hoping that we can be one of them, but I would imagine that you guys certainly will be up there. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because you've mentioned Alfie May there as one of those players that ultimately in that league last year, I think he was top goal scorer in the league. He was doing so well at Charlton and he was prized away. Now, there is a project at Birmingham and it sounds as though actually if you get your new owners, you're going to have exactly the same, which is we don't want to be where we are. We want to build up. We want to get ourselves financially astute and then see how things take us forwards. And that's part of what Knighthead as our owners have done. They've come in with a regimented, this is what we want to do. And their aspiration is within 5 years to be Premier League. They want to be in a new stadium. We've purchased the land. Work has already begun to get that in a position ready to build a new stadium for the club. But that hasn't stopped them so far in helping Birmingham as a, not just a club, but the community and the whole area. So there's so many different things that have gone on where we're supporting local groups now in schools to get kids to football, people that haven't been able to see the games, getting them down to St Andrews. Here's a day out, here's an afternoon, go and enjoy yourselves. And that's going to continue because we've become more of a family club than ever before. Something you just said actually resonates really well with me, which is actually some of our fan base, same as yourselves. They only remember the good old days. They only remember the Premier League. They only remember winning the cup. Right? People like myself, 32nd year as a season ticket holder. So I've felt the pain, not only of where we have been relegated as we did last season, but God, we've been lower. We've been close to going out of business before David Sullivan came in and saved us first time round. They then took us up into the Premier League. Then the fans got fed up with them. So then they disappeared. And we had Carson Young. But Carson Young, as we all know, stories behind it, ended up behind bars, nearly foreclosed on the club. We were saved by another Chinese group that stripped us. Didn't invest, but took plenty out. Now these new owners, they don't just want to see the football club succeed. Their aspiration, their desire is for the city to succeed. So let's hope we can bring that forward. So toughy, but give me a prediction for the weekend. It's that first game. We said just before I started recording actually that I don't like doing first season predictions, but got to ask. How do you think it'll go on Saturday, and how do you see the final result ending?
Well, I mean, my personal problem is that I'm on holiday with the family, so I won't be at the game. I've got to find a little taverna somewhere that's showing Sky Sports somehow. So hopefully I can do that and not run into any of your fans, really. Of course, if anyone's in Rhodes over this next weekend and they want to have a little beer, then that's absolutely fine. Come and find me. I'll be somewhere. Look, I mean, you said it earlier. The first season games are very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. And we have got a really disgusting August. We've got some really difficult games. We've got obviously we go to Colchester in the week in the I still call it the Carling Cup, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Or the Worthington's Cup, as it was famously known for a few years. When was the last time you saw a pint at Worthington's? Amazing, still going. Can't do it. And then we've got Wigan at home, we've got Wrexham away, we've got Charlton at home, we've got West Ham under 21s in the Bristol Street Motors Cup as well. So, or trophy as it's called. So it's a really difficult month for us. And I think, looking at the game, if we can get out with anything positive on Saturday, that'll be really, really good. I'm really interested to see how we and we stand up to what you've got in terms of quality. You know, we've got quality players of our own that have gelled, that know how to play, that will fight for each other, that won't take any rubbish on the pitch, and they're fierce, you know. But it's whether or not you can get all of your new signings clicking early doors, and be able to do that. I mean, I'm sure your coaching staff may or may not be listening to this. I don't know, but you know, in terms of where we're at, we are very weak in the fullback area at the moment. Very, very weak, and we'll be playing young players. We'll be playing players out of position to cover those roles. So that is an area that really could be exploited for us. In terms of how else we are, you know, we're very, very strong in central midfield. The front three that play up top, very, very quick, very athletic. There's goals all across those front three and in the central midfield positions. But in terms of a prediction, I mean, I would be surprised if we do get anything positive. I would, you know, I hate starting a negative, but I'd probably go for a 2-1 win for Birmingham. I think we will score. But you know, my wish and my hope is that we come out with, you know, a 1-1, a 2-1. I'd be very, very surprised if we won the game. So I'm going to go with you guys on this one as kicking off your season with a win. But I think overall, across the course of the season, I think we'll be okay. And it's a good test for us. You know, it's a good opportunity, as you said, to show other people what we're about, like I was with you guys as well. So it'll be a good game, put it that way. It won't be boring. I think it'll be both teams that are going for it and we'll want to get points on the board straight away. So, yeah, should be a good one.
I mean, overall, I think I'm very similar to yourself. I'm apprehensive around the first game because you just don't know what team's going to turn out in pre-season whilst it's good. Also, for me, it doesn't show the true perspective of what your players can do. And it's only when you go against teams in your own league that you get to find out. Because let's face it, these games mean something. Pre-season is about fitness and gelling. So it's going to be a good game. Mentioned it already, but a full house at St Andrews. The atmosphere is going to be buzzing. It really, really is. It's going to be absolutely superb, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to go for, I'll say 2-0 win. I don't think that it'll be a case of a walk in the park, though. I think, you know, to start off with, we're going to have two nervous teams and probably for the first 20 minutes be sizing each other up. You know, Alfie May, you've mentioned him there. He has scored throughout pre-season and he is a true poacher. And the thing with him that I've seen already is you get a ball to him and, you know, he is going to slot them away. He did it the weekend with 2 poaching goals against West Brom. He scored against Solihull Moors. He scored against Rangers. He's also got that ability to, he's running and his work rate off the ball is just unreal. And in fact, something we've been...
Yeah, I was going to say he's a very, very good player off the ball as well. And I think a lot of that goes underrated, really. He's, you know, obviously, he was top scorer last year, as you said, in League One. But he certainly, when we played him last year, he was very, very good. And the games I saw Charlton play, he was, off the ball, very aggressive, made those runs, made space for other people, brought others into play. So he's a good player. He's a very, very good player. And you've done very well to get him on the money that I think was he less than $1 million? Which is crazy.
Oh, I don't think anybody has ever got the figures out, and I don't think, in all honesty, we'll ever get them. But yeah, I mean, from what I understand, it was less than that. But hey, money talks at the end of the day, so we'll never find out. And you mentioned JJ, actually. That's an interesting one for us because there's a few Birmingham fans that I think will be honest and say, actually, do you know, whilst he is good, do they rate him enough? And I think there's a few people that have actually spoken not very highly of JJ, but he's had a fantastic pre-season. He's really come into his own under Davis. I would be very surprised if he is still at Birmingham at the end of the window. I think he'll still be there the weekend. Unfortunate for yourself, but I do think that he'll go before the window's out. But we've signed Leonard, and to me that's the natural replacement for him. Who tore it up in the Division 1 as well. So we've got players that can slot in. And we've still got Paik at the club. We've still got Miyoshi. Still got Laird from the defensive side of things. Dion Sanderson has been phenomenal again during pre-season. Seems to have got a bit of his mojo back. So hoping we can see the best out of him as well. But let's look forward to a good season. for both teams. As I mentioned at the beginning, I really do hope that you get yourselves the owners that the club deserve and the fans deserve, that you can, do the same as ourselves and get yourself as a steady ship. Come Saturday, I say it all the time, I'll say it again, I wish you all the best for the season, but on Saturday I want you to have your worst game of the season. Actually, no, bar when we play you at your place. But look, thank you again, Ben, for joining us and talking to us on Tilton Talk and as part of the away end. Really do wish you all the very best as the season goes by. And I'll sign off by saying, keep right on.
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
Planning for your next trip? Elevate your travel style with Quince. Quince has all the jet-setting essentials you'll want for your next getaway, like European linen, premium luggage options, buttery soft Italian leather bags, and so much more. And is all priced at 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Plus, Quince only works with factories that use safe and ethical manufacturing practices. Pack your bags with high-quality essentials you'll be wearing for vacations to come with Quince. Go to quince.com/pack for free shipping and 365-day returns.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.